Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video showing you how to propagate pothos clippings in water so that you can develop enough root structure to transfer it over to potted soil. I've had my original potted pothos for about 18 years now, and recently, about 3 to 4 months ago, I started taking clippings from this single plant and transferring them over to water and then in turn to soil for propagation purposes. And at this time point, I've got a wide variety of plants at different stages, and so I thought this video would provide the unique opportunity to show you how I propagate this plant and give you general tips and advice based on my personal experience. So let's get started. Okay, so this is my original pothos plant that I've had for about 18 years. I keep it in the kitchen on a high shelf, and so the vines on a regular basis grow pretty extensively where they're at the point where they start hitting the floor. And so what I noticed about 3-4 months ago was that this individual vine was kind of at the floor, so I decided to take some clippings off of this to propagate them in water. And so I've got several ones at different stages, and I'll walk through that in a moment. But as far as propagating this, what you'll typically do is you can pick a variety of lengths based on what you have as far as a container for water. So originally the couple ones that I took were a little bit longer, probably like 3 nodes or 4 nodes in length, and then I put one of those ends in water so that I can grow the rootlets. And then more recently I've been switching where I've taken a single strand like this and I've cut it so that you have a single node like this, and then I'll take this and then propagate it in water itself so that it can develop roots, and then I'll in turn plant it over. And so as far as propagating it, all you need is a single leaf and a single node, and then you can place this in water, and over time it'll develop enough root structure where it'll grow on its own. So that's it for the process from the original plant. You just take one of these nodes, cut it like this, and then place it in water, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so here's the first step that you want to do for propagating these in water. So find a glass container that can hold water. What you'll do is fill this container up, and then what I do is I put several of the pellets of Osmocote fertilizer in the water so it distributes on a regular basis. And I'll take these individual nodes like this and then just dip it straight in the water and let it sit so it develops roots. And every probably about a week to 2 weeks, I'll replace the water entirely and add more Osmocote as I go. And so in this individual container, I probably have about 3 to 4 individual nodes. And so what you got here is 1, 2, 3, and 4 that have been sitting here, and then there's one leaf that I'm trying to grow just because it fell off the plant. But what you do is just let it sit and it'll develop roots over time. And then earlier today I actually took several of the individual leaves that I've had in this container, and I've actually transferred them over to new containers. And so this is what it looks like after about 3-4 weeks. You'll start developing rootlets like this, and that's what each of these looks like. And so you just place it on your like balcony or on a windowsill, and then it'll naturally develop roots over time like this. And so that's what it looks like. Once it develops enough root structure to support the plant, you'll then take these rootlets and then transfer them over to soil, which is basically what I did here. So these developed enough roots where I thought it could support itself. And so I just took soil, placed the individual plant here, and they're sitting there to grow from there. And from there, I'll have an individual plant that I can grow on a regular basis. So that's what those look like. I'll also show you the different rootlets that I've had for about 3-4 months from the original transfer. All right, so these are the original plants that I actually transferred over to water. So at the time, I got 2 of these glass containers that you can see through them, and I put this on my dresser in my bedroom. And so this is what the root structure looks like after about 3-4 months like this. So it develops an extensive root structure. I'm gonna keep these in water, but it can easily grow on its own. You just have to routinely replace the water to aerate it and add more Osmocote as you go. But this one's a little bit closer to the window, so as you can tell, it's developed much more because it's had more sun exposure. But it's a cool, unique experience to see these on a regular basis and the progress over time. And then, so that's those 2. And then I've had a couple where I think I transferred this one over recently. This was about 3 weeks ago, so it's already developing some roots from that. And then I had have another couple glass containers which have been successful as well. So this one's grown like this much and this one is this much, and I just keep these on my refrigerator in my kitchen and they seem to grow very well. And so that's my general tips and advice. What you'll need for this is really basically a single plant. You'll transfer over the rootlets to water with the single node clipping. Then you can transfer them over to soil or just keep them in water. And then as you go, you can use either liquid fertilizer or the Osmocote pellets to grow them and propagate them over time. But as you can tell, I've had a ton of success with this process, and it's all from one single plant for what you see before you. So hopefully that video is helpful. If you have questions, comments, post them below. As always, if you're interested, please subscribe to my channel as well.